Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Every moment is sacred, where we interweave meditation and healing into everyday life. I am your host, Rain Elizabeth Stickney. Now, let us begin. Hey, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for your presence. I am also happy to share that this summer I am gathering all of you who would like to have a wonderful meditation retreat in nature. The Trapp Family Lodge in Stowe, Vermont will host us. We have a gorgeous indoor space for meditation and movement, community building, and altar making. Our gathering room has outdoor spaces on either side. We are also going to be situated on 2,600 acres of trails and beautiful forest. There are swimming pools, sauna, amenities that will support your relaxation into the present moment. What could be better? Transforming your life in nature sounds pretty good to me. So come and meditate and enjoy. I work with people who have never meditated before, people who are new to meditation, meaning they have a practice and they are still learning along the way, as well as experienced meditators who are also likely learning along their way, as am I. And for those experienced folks, it's wonderful to gather in sacred community and have the blessing of group support along the path of spirituality, awakening, embodiment, self-inquiry, and being with the present moment exactly as it is, and noticing what comes in the way of that ever, if anything. I am delighted to be offering this because I love being in person with people, and I welcome you. I invite you to email me meditation@rainelizabeth.org. The early bird pricing is continuing until Saturday, April 15th, end of day. Take me up on this. It's the best deal. July 9th through 13th. That's a Sunday through a Thursday. We will have the most delightful, deep, and elevated time. Today on my show, I am honored to present Alicia Sutton. She is a New Zealander and she has also lived in the UK. She was once a lawyer, an actress, and now an executive coach. You will find her style of speaking and communicating, asking and responding to be thoughtful, vulnerable, playful, and filled with light. She is honest, energetic, and her spark shows through everything she does and says. Alicia has a podcast herself called You're Allowed. This is a permission slip to live your desires and passions in your life, but especially in your career. And she looks at career changes that people make. How did they make them? What supported them in pivoting and making a better choice for themselves? Her trailer is out, and I am eagerly awaiting her episodes. I am so looking forward to all she has to share. And you can not only find the beginning of her podcast on all the podcast platforms, You're Allowed is the name of her show, but you can also find her on Instagram and Facebook for daily sparks of inspiration. And like I said, you will hear and feel how sparkly she is and truly enjoy everything she offers. So look for her on Instagram at Alicia Jane Sutton, Alicia, Alicia, Jane, Jane, Sutton, Sutton, at Alicia Jane Sutton, and on Facebook at Alicia Sutton FB. FB for Facebook. So you can find her in both of those places as well as on her podcast. And here we go. Alicia and I step into meditation together, simply using our breath to focus on the present moment, noticing as we go along what's true, what is, simply as it is. I appreciate you being here. Thank you again for your presence. Enjoy the show. Alicia Sutton, I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so happy to be here with you. You're always so wonderful to be around and calming, and it's a safe space with you. So I'm looking forward to this.
I feel the same about you, and I always have a good time in our connection. So let the joy begin.
Exactly. I feel this nice mix of excitement. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to doing some meditation too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What has your meditation journey been like so far in your life?
I first learned meditation about 10 years ago, and I took a course actually for actors. It was the spiritual psychology of acting. And I saw it advertised somewhere, and I thought, ooh, there was something about the title that held some appeal. And I was going through a career transition at the time, really looking at who I was in the world and how I wanted to live. I always had a desire to give my best, the best of whatever I have to offer. And so I was in the exploration of, who am I? Am I an artist? What is an artist? I used to think that acting was a little bit frivolous. Like, you can't just have fun and do things on a stage for people's enjoyment, can you? Is that a good thing to be doing?
Please do. Please do that.
And then one of the best things I learned in this course, there were two things. The other was meditation, but one of the best things from a creative perspective was actually this idea that holding a mirror to who we are in life is one of the greatest gifts we can give. And that's what you do as an actor. So alongside that, every single time we worked, we would meditate first, and we would meditate as a group. And I discovered the power of doing something with a group of people. Of course, not just meditation. In this instance, meditation, it was incredible. You'd get a group of people from all different walks of life sitting in pretty basic chairs in a pretty basic community center. And then the way we would look at each other after this meditation, which was usually longer in those days, it was 20 to 30 minutes, we would all meditate, coming from not much experience of meditation for most of us. And the way we would just soak each other in was, I'll never forget it. The light that was shining out of people's faces and the sense of ease in our own skin was something I thought, oh, there's real power here. And there's such an instant love that exists between people when they're okay with who they are. That's what I got. And then since then, I've had a meditation practice on my own, because thankfully, my teacher at the time said to us, if you start with 2 minutes a day, that's great. Start easy. Mm-hmm. I even think he had a little recording that we could get, and it was literally a couple of minutes just to sit in the chair and feel you're sitting in the chair, feel that your weight on the chair, connect to what you could hear. And it's like, okay, good. That's what I can do today. And so since then, over the years, it's evolved. I've tried different kinds of meditation, and I find that different ones I find easier to connect with and enjoy. But just the simplicity of getting present has been so valuable.
What an amazing story and such a beautiful journey. I love the pairing of spirituality and acting. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really soothing for me to think that something I had a passion for actually also had a purpose. And I, since then, have reflected on, I think you can do that with anything, actually. There's always a purpose. You just need to find it and connect with it yourself so that you give yourself permission to do something that you're passionate about. Because this is for me. The things that really work for me are the things that have a purpose that's valuable for me, but also for someone else. So yeah, it was really, yeah, I'm glad I followed that the thing that I saw. I don't even know where I saw it, where it was advertised, whether it was a flyer or it was something online. I don't recall, but just tweaked piqued my interest, and I followed it.
Well, I know that you are international, meaning that you're from New Zealand, you've lived in the UK. I imagine you've probably traveled around a bit too. So these words like peaked or weak, it could be anything. Who knows?
Yeah, I have plenty of experience of saying things differently. Yeah.
Wow. And I love that intention of how if something's of benefit for me as well as for the world, there's purpose there, there's meaning there. It's within and an external gift as well.
Yeah, so true. It's helpful. If I spend too much time thinking about me, it's not usually a fun day. If I get too worried about myself, yeah, I just don't find it's usually that productive. It's more fun to be offering what I have to offer with other human beings.
You are such a gift. You are. You're
Well,
such a gift, Alicia. I'm so glad you're here and sharing your voice with the world in this way.
thank you for the opportunity to do so. I feel very honored.
What is your favorite style or kind of meditation?
I really like simple ones. I like something that is simple and has a focus. I enjoy ones where you're taken on a journey too. The reason I like the simple meditations, I guess I just realized something. I first discovered meditation in a different way. I went through a difficult period in my 20s and I was wanting to get out of my head about it. I knew I was just ruminating and ruminating. And I discovered running and I enjoyed running up hills. And I was like, why do I like running up the hill so much? Running down was a little bit more stressful. It was harder to ensure I was constantly worried I was going to take a tumble. But running uphill, I was safe. I wasn't generally going to fall, but I had to focus only on getting one foot in front of the other and breathing. I needed so much oxygen just to get up these hills. I was living in Wellington in New Zealand at the time, and there's a lot of hills. And it was like a meditation because all I could do was breathe and put one foot in front of the other. And it's for that reason that I like simple ones. I find it really easy to still my mind when there's something simple to do.
I love this example. And I'm reminded now of hearing this about you in the past. And it's so precious to have that embodied exercise of running up a hill, which takes effort, but using it as a meditation, one foot in front of the other with breath. And that is all that is going on.
Yeah, it can be that good. Can life really be that good and that simple? Yes, I think so.
So, what would you like to find in today's meditation as we share some meditative space together?
I would love to find that sense of groundedness you get when you trust that what you're about to do is the right thing. In a world where we have a lot of options and a lot of distractions often, and because I work independently, I have a lot of autonomy over my day, which is amazing. And the the flip side to that is I have a lot of autonomy over my day, which means I can choose to do things this way or that way, or should I do that now or this now? Or what would, what's the best plan here? And so I think that sense of just being grounded and trusting in yourself, that it's going to unfold the way it's going to unfold. Start here. Here is good. Let's go.
Here is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that an appropriate intention for what you're looking for, Rain?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And
Good.
appropriate for me is simply what's true for you. That's what's
Hmm.
appropriate for me, is just what's true for you. So I hear you saying the groundedness that one feels when they're trusting that what they're about to do is the right thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting from the present moment, just as you suggested, which is my favorite place to be. I mean, where else would
Yeah.
we be?
There's nowhere else. This is it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's amazing. The present moment is so filled with even memories of the past and imaginings of the future. And yet they're rooted here in the present moment. So when I think of the past from right now, it looks the way it looks because I'm here right now.
Mm.
And it's the only way I can see the past is from being right here, right now. So there's a deep honor of resonating with what is exactly as it is, and also allowing for all those thoughts and feelings to flow through, the thoughts and feelings of the past, the thoughts and feelings of the future. And there is a scientist that I just love, Stephen Hawking, and he has this beautiful quote. He says, he's an amazing person, and he says, if we can remember the past, why is it that we cannot remember the future?
Oh, that's good.
When these scientific minds ponder inquiries like this, I feel so engaged because for me it's a spiritual question, but they're looking at it from science. And Stephen Hawking, if anybody listening doesn't know who he is, please look him up, Stephen with a PH. He is an amazing individual, and you'll see why when you look him up. But a brilliant, brilliant person. So we're starting in the present moment with whatever thoughts and feelings are present as well. And I invite you, Alicia, and everyone, I invite myself to take a deep breath and just notice, what is this moment filled up with? And from a Buddhist perspective, what is this moment empty of? If you have an inclination toward fullness or an inclination toward emptiness, allow yourself to ponder, what is here? What is not here? Feel the breath as it fills up, as your body gets filled with breath. Feel the welcoming of oxygen. And as the body empties of breath, as you breathe out, feel the emptiness. In this fullness and emptiness of life, notice you, notice yourself, notice your whole self. Everything is allowed. You are allowed. all of you. Breathe in and out, allowing yourself to be free, allowing yourself to feel free. Feel that ground beneath you, whether it's a floor or the earth, whatever ground is supporting you, feel it. Ground into the earth and feel free. You are free. Begin to consider how you are in the right place at the right time, just as you are, just as everything is. Notice the simplicity of breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Notice how every breath is just right, just as it is. Your breath sustains you, whether you pay attention to it or not. Your breath is just right for you. Imagine moving into the world with this breath, with the rhythm of your breath, with the fullness and emptiness of your precious breathing. Imagine moving into the world grounded, just right as you are. In your own way and in your own time, imagine what you do in the world. Imagine how you move so connected and grounded to yourself. And notice how trust is natural here because you're aligned. You're aligned with your breath. You're aligned with what is happening. You're aligned with the ground that supports you. If trust is not natural here, for you or anybody listening, come back to the breath. Notice how the breath is breathing you, even if you don't pay attention to it. Trust this breath. Trust the emptiness and fullness of being. Trust the ground to hold you up and support you. The earth is here for you. It's your home. The earth is your home in this lifetime. And imagine how you walk step by step, breath by breath, into the world, just right for you, offering your gifts freely in a way that resonates and brings joy. Deepening your breath, notice anything you'd like to notice about yourself or your surroundings. And gently open your eyes. Softly bringing in shapes and colors in your own way and your own time. And for Alicia here with me and anybody listening, really pay attention to how you are right now. Everything is allowed. However you are is just right.
I just have to wipe a tear from my cheek. It's lovely. I feel so much softer.
I love softness.
You know, when you relax, well, for me, and I can just feel I allow myself to take up more space, unclench those stomach muscles, and just relax into, taking up room. And one of the things I love is how I often don't feel like meditating. I mean, I relate to this about a lot of things that I actually enjoy when I'm doing them. Exercise is another one. I don't want to do it. And then when I'm doing it, I love it and don't want to stop. So that was my experience today. I was like, open my eyes. Are you kidding?
No way.
Yeah. It's really lovely.
I know that feeling of wanting the meditative state to last forever, and even pondering how might I open my eyes and continue on in a way that would continue this consciousness. It's one thing to be conscious, and it's another thing to be conscious of consciousness.
I like thinking about how I seem to be making analogies with physical fitness today. So there we are. If you meditate a lot or regularly rather than a lot, but you've got a consistency to it, then as you're moving about your day, you will have more consciousness available. You will be more present. A bit like if you were exercising every day, you move around the day carrying that physical fitness, even if you're just walking or talking with someone. Your form still carries the memory of the earlier endeavor. And so it's nice to think that I've put a little time in the bank, so to speak, so that as I am going about my day, it will be easier to feel connected.
That's a lovely example. And I think you're right. It is something of a muscle that can be exercised and trained. And then we're better in touch with being able to be present because there's enough experience where it isn't so foreign. It isn't so much like, what was that I was doing? And it's more like, oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember how to do this. I can do this right now.
Mm, mm.
I can be present right now.
Yeah, it's easier to catch yourself if
Mhm.
your mind is running away with you or you're getting really worked up about something. It's easier to just go, oh, hang on a minute. Is this the path I feel like walking down? Is it, I don't know. Maybe just take a pause. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's definitely my experience. And that's what helps me keep sitting down once a day, even if my mind usually says, no, no, no time for that. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't want to. I have all of those thoughts. If anyone listening thinks, but I have that resistance too, all of the time. And I've just found it's okay.
It is. You're so right. It is okay. It is okay. It's
Yeah, your
all okay.
your mind's not broken. You didn't get I used to think, oh no, I got a dud one. Mine's defective. Oh, what a drag. I wish I had a different mind. Those people who seem to be able to work with theirs. No, I think
Hmm.
it's
I
okay if you
love
feel that way.
it is. It is okay to feel that way. And I happen to love your brilliant mind, Alicia. So
Oh, well, there's one fan. That's great. No, yeah, it's a discovery, isn't it? I mean, first you realize you even have a mind, that there's something that isn't the entirety of who you are. I mean, that in itself is a wonderful revelation that not everyone might discover in their lifetime. And then you get to go, well, okay, what kind of a mind am I dealing with? And yeah, I guess I'm still discovering this. So let's see how things go. But as far as I can tell, there's some wonderful things that my mind offers and some things that are less helpful, and it's just being okay with all of it.
mhm. Yeah. And I love that you're bringing in how sometimes we can be judgmental against ourselves and think like, oh, my mind is such and such, or this and this about me, blah, blah, blah. And it is okay to have those thoughts and feelings. And it is also okay to watch how they come and go. That
Yeah.
the judgments or the self talk need not always be the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Mm.
energy passing through.
It is so true. And that taking an attitude of neutrality can be very helpful.
Right.
It's, yeah, it's a bit like if you take negative criticism or negative comments from people. Well, okay, you could take that, then you must also take in the good. So you can't. I feel like that with your mind. You just have to go. This is a mind. This is what a mind does, and what shall I do today? Not getting so hooked by what it's got to say.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a difference between when you're actually doing some diligent thought on something, which spoke about science earlier, using your analytical mind to explore a topic with dedication and focus versus your ongoing conversation about who you are and how you're doing in life. I think there's two distinct times. And one time it's really valuable to use your mind, and the other time, less so.
Mhm. Right. There is such a thing called constructive criticism. And that's a very valuable tool and skill to use because it
Mm,
helps our mind understand things. And
mm,
there are venues where doubts are very welcome. And I feel drawn to those venues because I like, whether it's myself or someone else, being able to exercise thinking and
mm,
really look at something from different angles. And if we are allowed to look at something from different angles, we're going to come up with questions or doubts or constructive criticism. And the health of that is to approach it all with equanimity
mm,
and just know that our minds are built to discover. And we
mm.
discover by asking, we discover by being inquisitive and curious.
So true. Look at that natural instinct in the young ones, right? When they ask constant questions, it's such a good quality. Yeah. And yeah, we want to foster that, keep that alive as an adult too. I love it. Well,
Oh,
thank you for that delicious meditation.
oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for being here. And I found myself in the meditation really leaning into the title of your podcast, but just naturally. It wasn't intentional. And so you have a show, Alicia, called You're Allowed.
Ew. And I loved hearing that reflected back. And so I think it's magical that you use those words, because I created the podcast because I need to hear that message too. And I want to have conversations with people who are in the exploration of this message of you're allowed. And a focus of it is career, for sure, about you're allowed to pursue your passions and what you believe are your gifts or what you feel would just be so fun for you. You are allowed to do that. And it, of course, leads into so many other avenues of life, not just career, how we live life in all its forms, how you want to eat, how you want to have relationships, how you want to communicate, how you want to dress, whatever it might be. Giving yourself permission to do that, I think unconsciously, then we give others permission to do the same thing, and we can light each other up in that way. So, yeah, thank you for mentioning it. And I would love for people to check it out. If they think it's something that would be interesting to them, then come join us.
Yes, I highly recommend listening to Alicia and finding out more about everything she does. Everything. Yeah. So many gifts so many gifts that you offer, Alicia. Thank you for shining your light here and in the world. You're just a beam of joy and truth and honesty and beauty.
Thank you so much. It's really beautiful to be here with you. And I love when we talk about honesty, because I find authenticity so scary and the best thing there is. It's like, whoa, this thing that I find terrifying is where the juice is. Come on. And yet, yeah, that's for me the case. It feels so scary to be vulnerable and truthful with people, and just a thrill at the same time. So thank you for what you're creating here. I think it's a wonderful balance between meditation and exploration of meditation and healing, and how we can take care of ourselves in this lifetime. Because I know that you believe that that's so that we can be a gift to the world, which I find so, as soon as I say it, I'm like, oh, it sounds so grand. And yet I think we are both small people with our small lives brushing our teeth. And then we are also the universe. We are also, we're this and that. And we're just human beings doing our thing, and also a whole world in one being.
Yes, the emptiness and the fullness all at once.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for what you're putting together, and I can't wait to listen back to the meditation.
Oh, thank you for being here.
A pleasure, total pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening. It has been a great joy to have your presence here in this podcast. I welcome you to celebrate the joy and wisdom in your life exactly as it is. And I welcome you to feel loved, fully loved, exactly as you are. www.rainelizabeth.org